Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. Look at that. Making Gotham great again. Gotham is so corrupt. Oh, why is Gotham corrupt? Because, over 10 years ago, we had a banking crisis that was created by Wall Street and the banks. They created it. They created it and profited from it. Obama and Bush gave them almost $2 trillion. And we didn't put them in jail. There was almost no reform. There was Dodd-Frank, which was the most like Band-Aid on a shotgun wound I've ever seen in my life. Oh, Dodd-Frank. Nothing. We should have jailed the bankers. This was in Jacobin. We should have jailed the bankers after the last crisis. We did not. Obama should have done that. And here's the thing. Had Obama jailed the bankers and did sweeping housing reform and helped everybody get jobs, the Democrats would never lose. They would never lose. There's no reason to support a conservative party when everybody's got a job. And the workers or the People's Party or whatever you want to call it, that lefty, when you have a real left party, they never lose. Because you just keep taking care of the masses and the masses then keep voting for you. But Obama releases this book, which is in this article. And I wanted The Fraudulent Universalism of Barack Obama. The 44th president's new memoir showcases his impressive storytelling skills and the dishonesty and shallowness of the stories he tells. That's what Obama does. Tells these great stories, and I voted for the guy twice. I thought, oh man, he's smart, sharp, he's better than Bush. It's the same thing. And the way George W. Bush would like lean in and say folksy things that made conservative voters believe him, and he's full of shit, and he screwed those people over. Obama came in and talked all Harvard eloquent, and still we all got screwed over. If it were possible for me to go back in time, this is a quote. This is a quote from Obama's memoir. And do it over. I can't say that I would make different choices. Really? Of course not. Because Citibank picked your cabinet. Yeah, there was a leaked memo. Citibank, who they wanted in Obama's cabinet. Every single person on that list made it into his cabinet. Goldman Sachs has had people in presidential cabinets going back to Reagan. That's who really runs this country. So you think my party is better than that party? You're deluded. You've been lied to, man. You've been propagandized. It's class warfare we're in. It's not red versus blue, black, white, whatever. That's what they want us to think. We are in class warfare. In the abstract, all the various alternatives and missed opportunities that the critics offer up sound plausible, simple plot points in a morality tale. What is he saying? He just says this. Oh, wow. He sounds so smart. Oh, they sound plausible, but I'm so much smarter than you. I'm going to pat you on the head. Jailing the bankers, that wouldn't have worked. Whether nationalization of the banks or stretching the definitions of criminal statutes to prosecute banking executives, simply letting a portion of the banking system collapse so as to avoid moral hazard. And this is all from his quote. Would have required a violence to the social order, a wrenching of political and economical norms. No, Obama. The change would have been to you and the ruling elites. That's would have been the violent upheaval. So it's so offensive that he says this shit. It offends me so much, and it makes me so mad that I phone banked for him in 2008. I'm so mad. It's a cynical, self-interested, and unconvincing narrative, to be sure, but it is also misrepresents a big part of the case for prosecuting white-collar criminals. Well, what you're saying is they're above the law. Back to all this, like, would have required a violence of the social order, a wrenching political economic, stretching of definitions, blah, 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 collapse into a moral hazard. Collapse into a moral hazard? as to avoid a moral, the moral hazard is you let these assholes off the hook. That's the moral hazard. You told every American, especially the 6 million families that lost, 6 million foreclosures happened. That's not 6 million people. That's 6 million families. That's also taking away intergenerational wealth, right? You buy a home, especially you bought a home 20, 30 years ago, and then your parents, whatever, somebody, and then they pass away and they sell that home, or they give that home to their next generation of kids. And those kids, that home is worth more. You took away 6 million people's retirements, 6 million families' retirements, the possibility of passing something on to the next generation. You took that away. That's the moral hazard. So don't give me your Harvard double talking bullshit about, well, it's complicated. No, it's not complicated. You're bought and paid for by Wall Street, just like the Republicans are, and you protected them. You told every American, hey, if you're wealthy, you're not held accountable. Every American knows this. Every American knows this. That's the moral hazard that Obama helped create, and Bush. And when this housing collapse happens again, and it will, because the bubble's there again, the bubble was there before COVID. All of this, watch The Big Short. At the end of The Big Short, they say all the same stuff is happening again. At the end of The Big Short, which came out in what, 2016 or something, 2017? It was all happening before COVID, and it all got worse than COVID. And what also happened during COVID? Oh, billionaires made record profits. Wall Street got trillions of stimulus money. I can't even say tax money because it was just the Federal Reserve just created it out of thin air. So it wasn't even taxpayer money. It's money that should have gone to working class people and families. Everyone should have been given rent forgiveness and mortgage forgiveness. They should have just said, we'll give this money to the bank. You're done. You don't have to owe this. You're 6, 9, 12 months behind on rent or mortgage. We'll pay it off to keep everybody in their homes. But they don't want to keep you in your homes. They want you to go get foreclosed on because that's the long-term play. That's what happened in the last housing crisis. These management companies and banks, and One West Bank, Steve Mnuchin should be in federal prison right now. Oh, Graham, you're overreacting. Listen to Obama. He's the level head. Really? Well, if I'm a crazy hothead, then so is Iceland. Iceland must be a bunch of crazy hotheads, bunch of crazy burn bro progressives, all angry about everything. Oh no, Iceland has jailed 29 bankers. Why can't the UK and US do the same? This came out in 2016. Why didn't we do that? Sweeping banking reform. That's even the joke at the end of The Big Short. He does that at the end of The Big Short. Adam McKay, and then everyone was arrested and sweeping overhaul. And then he goes, whoops, no, it wasn't. We didn't do that. Why didn't we do that? Well, it's complicated and everyone wanted to, in theory, it sounds good. In theory? This isn't a theory. Iceland wasn't worried about the moral hazard of jailing criminals. If a biker gang or a street gang, a drug dealer, bunch of drug dealers caused 6 million foreclosures, would they have gotten a slap on the wrist? Believe me, if they could put all the Wall Street bets people in prison, they would. If they could. They can't. Bernie Madoff, one guy, he's in prison as well. He should be. But Bernie Madoff said it. He goes, what? The banks did what I did 10 times worse. And they did it to 10 times more people. But they didn't go to prison. Bernie Madoff didn't buy enough he didn't buy any politicians, I guess. All Bernie Madoff had to do was contribute to some, Barack Obama's election campaign, or Trump, or whatever greasy shithead is in the White House. Iceland jailed top bankers over 46 years. Europe outraged. They're in prison for decades. Iceland is deferred from the rest of Europe and the US by allowing bankers to be prosecuted as criminals, which is what they are, rather than treating them as protected species, which is what they are in America and the UK and Europe. And it's not just the housing crisis that Obama did nothing on and then writes his bullshit memoir saying, well, it's complicated. Shut up. You're just as annoying with your Harvard double talking nonsense as when I listen to George W. Bush barely put together a sentence. Wells Fargo aggressively, remember Wells Fargo that created fake bank accounts and made and stole money? And here's how they did it. They aggressively bullied its poorly paid tellers into selling as many new accounts as possible so that customers would be charged extra fees. The upshot was that low-wage workers themselves became the primary instrument of the firm's unethical practices. And there's all these accounts of even like bank managers going, this ain't right. And they were threatened. And then they tried to put it on them. And so when John Stumpf spoke in front of Congress and the Senate committee, remember Liz Warren gave him a stern talking to, and that video went viral, and all the dummy neoliberals like, you go, Liz, you give him what? You tell him what for? Oh, here's the reality of that theatrics. That's the Democratic Party talking tough in a Senate committee hearing. Big tweets. We're not going to speech, tough talk speech. But what was the reality? John Stumpf similarly got off with a lifetime ban from work in the financial industry. Oh, that's tough. A fine of $17.5 million. That seems like a lot of money. He ultimately walked away with a stock value of $80 million. So he could pay the fine like you having to pay a $200 speeding ticket. Bye. $60 million in salaries and bonus and a pension. He got a pension. This is over $100 million, worth $22.7 million. He could just take his pension, pay the $17 million fine, and then have a pension of $5 million. So let's say you live for 20 years, let's say 30 years into $5 million. That's $150,000 a year for 30 years. It's a pretty decent pension. That's what he could just do just with his pension after paying the fine. Oh, but by the way, he's got 80 million and 60 in stock salaries and bonuses and 80 million in stock. So Obama, shut up. Just enough with your, I would have done the same thing over again. At least say I should have jailed him. At least don't insult us again. Don't insult us again. And when this housing collapse happened, you better believe that Biden and Kamala and Pelosi and the squad will line up and give the bankers whatever they want. The squad will tweet, this ain't right, but they won't do anything about it. They won't force the vote. They won't use any leverage that they have. And idiots like TYT will defend them. Don't be so hard on them. Wait till the midterms or whatever the next bullshit election that we've got to wait until. Don't be too hard on Biden. Wait till November, the November election. Then after the November election, wait till he gets sworn in. Okay, now he's sworn in. Wait till his first 100 days. He's had his first 100 days. Well, wait till the 22 midterms. Oh, there we go again. I'll wait till the 24. Then we'll. Don't hold him accountable. Why should we hold the financial industry accountable? They ruin people's lives. They profit it. And some of them are friends with Epstein. How did this thing get up? Jess Staley, the CEO of Barclays, and also was a former head of JP Morgan Chase. Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary. Jeffrey Epstein, hung himself with a paper t-shirt. Bill Gates, this is in 2011, by the way, Bill Gates, who doesn't want to give the COVID vaccine to poor countries because he's a monster. Boris Nikolic ran the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They probably have to change the name now that she wants to divorce him because he's friends with this guy, or was friends with this guy because he's dead. Ruling class had him killed. Executor of Epstein's will. Secretary Treasurer, big bank CEO, Bill Gates. Huh. Thanks, Obama. Thanks for letting the bank steal my home and 6 million people's other homes. You could have done something about it. I voted for you because I thought you were going to be better than George W. Bush. You're no different. And the vote any blue will do crowd, you're a sucker. You're a sucker. Read Dave Dayen's chain of title. Dave Dayen, big Democrat supporter, big activist within the Democratic Party, wrote a book showing how corrupt it was. That's your banking industry. That's why I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. She got $400,000 in speaking fees to Goldman Sachs. That's why I didn't vote for Joe Biden. He gets all this banking money. It's why I won't vote for Kamala Harris after Joe Biden doesn't make it through his first term and she's sworn in president and runs for re-election in 24. That's why I won't vote for anybody with a D or an R next to their name because they're corrupt. So it's folks like this who run everything. And they prop up this guy who writes this ridiculous book. Yeah, he needs more money. That's what he needs, is a book deal. Don't buy his book. Listen to his nonsense. Wake up. We've all been lied to. You're a big Trump supporter? You were lied to. Trump lied to you. The Republicans lied to you. Big Obama? They lied to you. Everybody's lying to you. Wake up. Everyone in power is lying to you. I'm not lying to you. This is my honest opinion. I have no reason to lie to you. I'm not paid by some big corporation. There's not going to be a Citibank. Doesn't pay me anything. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. Follow the money, connect the dots, find the truth. It's that simple. Obama was paid by the banks. Biden was paid by the banks. Trump was paid by the banks. Bush, Clinton, blah, 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 blah. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.